edition of the brand new here in my hometown of Crossett, Arkansas, as the Crossett Eagles head coach. Dominic, thank you very much for being on the show with us today.
Man, thanks for having me.
Dominic, let me ask you this, man. Of course, I now live in Crossett. My wife and yourself graduated together in '09, I believe is when it was.
Yes.
Or to your alma mater, I'm sorry, and have the opportunity to coach these young men.
So you was breaking out. I think I heard you were asking, what is it like to be back home coaching?
Yes, yes.
It's a blessing, just to come back and help kids that grew up in the same streets and go to the same school as you, and just to know in the community. And then it's real cool that you get to know, some of their parents and their family members. So it's a deeper connection, So it's just a blessing to come back and just try to help kids that, and give back to a community that gave back to you, that gave you so much. So it's just a blessing. That's all I can say. I'm happy to be back.
What are some challenges that are at CrossFit as far as number of kids, enrollment, that type of thing?
Well, are you meaning like to compete at the highest level?
Yes.
Well, I would say one of our obstacles is that we're in a tough conference. We got 3 5A schools technically, and I mean they're 4A, but they come from 5A with Camden, Magnolia, and Watson Chapel now. So it's just not having as many kids as they have to choose from. So it's we're kind of behind the 8 ball in that. But other than that, that's kind of it. But we try to do the best we can, and we work with what we got. And that's always been a mentality of mine. And so not to make any excuses. So that's just how I feel about it.
Gotcha. John, do you have anything for Dominic?
Dominic, you were coming from you've been at CrossFit 4 years and came from Bryant High School. Can you talk about the two different schools in general? I'm not familiar with Bryant High School because I'm from the Memphis area. Mm-hmm. But can you just talk about from Bryant High School to CrossFit, what's the two different about the schools?
Yeah, well, I mean, first off, Bryant is one of the biggest school districts in the city. In the state. So that's different in itself. It's just so many more people and so many more students and coaches and just everything. They do a really good job in Bryant. I learned a lot, and I value my time there. I spent 4 years at Bryant, and I just think in some regard, Bryant's a little bit more advanced in some areas than we are down here, but we're moving in the right direction. It's just they have more resources and things like that they have at their disposal to make things a little bit easier. So it's just the number of people and just the system, that's kind of the difference.
Dominic, when you look at the season thus far this year, especially with COVID-19 and just the challenges that I know the city of CrossFit has had to deal with, we're currently in an outbreak for COVID-19, so it's very serious here. Talk about just some challenges that you've had and just how resilient this basketball team has been this year.
Yes. Well, just to start off, before COVID, we deal with a lot of multi-sport athletes. So the majority of our team plays football, and they do a great job going down there and play football. And they have a lot. They've been blessed and fortunate to have a lot of success. So it bleeds over into basketball season. So to start this year, we played with 5 kids. We played 5 guys. We played 5 games with 5 guys. And we did that just to, we just didn't want to. I want those kids that didn't play football to have a chance to compete too because of COVID. Like you're saying, who knows when the season was going to be over. So yeah, we can go out there and I could be like, well, we might lose or this, that, and the other. We only got 5 guys. It's just, so I just took myself out of it and go, hey, these guys got a chance to go compete and a chance to play in a season that's not guaranteed right now. So that was the first challenge. So we did that. And then just our last game, we had a couple guys out with COVID. Now they didn't have it, but they was close contact. And one guy, one kid we had, he was coming to the gym. it was game day, and the principal came and told us he had to, he'd been deemed close contact. So, and then you have to go tell his grandparents that, and they're at the games and they want to see him compete, and it's, hey, he's got to go home, and it's just a tough situation that we're all dealing with, but it's the not being able to be in a routine is the biggest problem. You never know when you're gonna have somebody or not gonna have somebody, or you're gonna have a game or not have a game, so that's the hardest part.
Go ahead, Christian.
I live in CrossFit and I've kept up with CrossFit and Hamburg. I went to Hamburg, but what do you think about the new gym for CrossFit? That's one of the best in the state that I've seen.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah,
we love it. We're glad to call it home too.
Nice.
So, and the coolest thing is me and Coach Williams, our girls basketball coach, and Mr. Williams, our superintendent. When I came here, they let us have input on what we're going to do with this and do that and color, and so we kind of helped design it in a way. So it's a little bit special for us, because when I walk out there and I look at it, I go, hey, I decided, or I had an input on this or on that. So it just makes it like home. So it is one of the best in the state. We're happy that we're proud to have it, and we're glad that we get to do things like last year. We had regionals here. It's just bringing things to CrossFit that we never had before. So hopefully we get to do a state tournament, and then hopefully our girls and the boys we can participate in that state tournament, not just host it, but we be participants in it. So it's great. We love it.
Nice. So last season, before it was cut short, I have so I'm a youth director. So I had a youth that plays for Mina High School. So so that's in your region. So I went over to CrossFit, to your gym, to watch the ladies regionals, and so yeah, I just wanted to emphasize, like, that gym is beautiful. I'll go on with like what Christian said there, but also I was wondering, like, what is attendance like before COVID, like when there's no restrictions? Like, do y'all fill that gym up, or
it's hard to fill it up.
yeah.
But when we play Hamburg, usually our rival, it's a good. We kind of pack it. My first year here, it was like standing room only.
Okay.
So Hamburg, you get a good crowd. Now we get a decent crowd every time, but if you're talking about like capacity, you're looking at like Hamburg and Monticello for some reason is always a packed game too. I guess because it's close. Those two games, and then obviously we got this team in our conference called Magnolia, and people love to come watch them play. And so
they're good.
They travel well too, and they're really good. So those three games, you can kind of book it as being packed.
Yeah.
The faithful.
That's good. So you have some townies that come in and really strongly support y'all, right?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, cool. That's good. Good to hear.
Speaking of the gym, I know you just alluded to that you had some input. When you say input, like, what can you get a little more specific into that? Like, did you help design like the court look and all that? Or?
Yeah, we picked like the court look, and all those people noticed this, the little darker wood is it was more of a tribute to the forestry of CrossFit, and just that type of community. And we did that, and then just where people sit, home, away, benches, chairs, the whole court paint, scheme. We kind of had a say so on that. So we had a big hand in it. We didn't get. I'm not saying we made all the decisions, but they were at least, they talked us to ask us for our opinion. So, and I appreciated that for sure, because they didn't have to do that. So I appreciate it.
Nice.
Dominic, I've been looking at your past 4 years, but y'all still have the same, like, TSAA here in Tennessee, like, next year is reassigning all the districts, for our district tournaments and whatnot. Are y'all keeping the same 12 teams this year that y'all had last year? And how many make the playoffs per se, like the district tournament? How do they do that, for example, this year?
Well, we'll keep what we have for the next 2 years, because we just went through a recycle and we added Watson Chapel. So it's 8 teams in our league, and 4 teams make it to regionals. The top 4 make it to regionals. We don't do a district tournament. Some other 4A conferences do, We happen not to. But the top 4 teams make it to regionals, and if you win a regional game, you get to go to state. So it's not a guarantee. You got to fight your way in there. It's tough, So
Right.
I kind of like that though, because I mean, really, it makes the entire season mean something, literally game in, game out, because you're constantly trying to work and either work your way up or make sure you can stay at the top. I actually like that.
yeah, I do too. Just the competitive nature of it. It's just sometimes, obviously, if you're an outside looking in, like we have been, you kind of wish you had that district tournament to get another chance, but you had 14 chances during the regular season to win.
Right.
So you can't
You
cry
know,
over that. You had your chances. So I
and
do like it too because it does make every game worth it. It makes every game you can have no time to play around or nothing. You got it, and teams are bringing it every night, so you have to bring it every night. So I
and
like
one thing I'll say about CrossFit, they were my rival growing up, but they do have some of the best fans in the state. I mean, they're just behind all the sports. I mean,
it. Mhm.
because they were really good in football in the past, and you know they're used to winning in all sports. So,
Yeah,
and I'm hopefully you can get CrossFit back in basketball. I don't. I mean, I know they're more of a football school, but I think y'all have the right facilities and they're in good shape as well.
yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we have a lot of we have some faithfuls, and we call people super eagles. That
Nice.
come to everything. And we are on the up with football, and our girls made it to regionals last year, and they got to participate, and we have a good chance this year as the boys. We're 5-3 right now, so I think everything's up. I do understand what you mean. You say it's a football school, but we're trying to focus on making us a sports school. Let's
Yeah,
boys,
Yeah.
everything.
and the fans are behind, like I said, all
Yeah,
sports. So
yeah,
there's no lack there,
yeah. So,
lack of
um,
support.
but no, and I tell my kids that sometimes people try to pit us against each other, and I go, man, we want to compete against Monticello's basketball team, the Hamburg's basketball team, the Warren's back. No, I don't want to compete against our football team. But, I encourage our guys to go play football, and I play football in CrossFit, and like I said, most of my team, 10 of my guys play football. So that's just you're gonna deal with that every year. So it's best to just be on the same side of the rope and pulling in the same direction and playing tug of war to me.
Are they doing the region at the higher seed, like the host the tournament throughout, or how are they going to do that?
No, our regional tournament is located in one area. It should be up in about Mina or Malvern this year. We had it last year, so everybody came to us. You get the bid on it, and we won the bid last year. And it takes turns as far as what region gets it. So it'll be Malvern and them this year. I'm pretty sure it might be at Malvern or Mina. So um, hopefully we'll be making a trip up there.
Just real
Yeah, the
quick.
TSAA
Just
here
go
locally,
ahead, John.
the TIS. No, the reason I bring that up because looks like each state is different this year regarding how they're going to do the regions. Because the TSAA out of Murfreesboro/Nashville area here decided to say the first round is at the higher seed throughout the whole region tournament. Right, where right now ours Shelby County schools are not playing at all,
Mm-hmm.
and they're basically been closed ever since the last year. So basically, Bartlett's district, the team I usually cover, for example, only has 2 teams in their district right now, and they could very well host a region all throughout the region to go to sub-state. That's the reason I know each state is different this year because of COVID. That's one reason I'm asking this question regarding the state of Arkansas.
Yeah, it's. I mean, with COVID going on, man. I mean, everything's crazy. Everything is just really turned upside down. It's really crazy. Real quick, just want to say thank you to our Facebook watchers slash listeners, all of our YouTube listeners, and also everyone listening on the iHeart Radio app. Thank you very much for all the support. Um, Dominic, when you look at CrossFit and you look at the future, uh, how bright would you say it is for this school and program?
I think we got a lot of good guys.
Oh,
Yeah, he froze up on my screen.
Yeah.
yeah, he did. He froze up
Yeah,
on
he
me
froze
too.
up here too.
Um. Oh, there he is.
He's on mute.
Yeah,
Thank
you're on mute.
Sorry, I got
There
kicked.
he
I'm
is.
sorry. Um, I was saying I think the future is very bright. I think we got a lot of good people.
I'm telling you, man, CrossFit Wi-Fi is not the strongest pass. You either got Media 3 or you got Windstream, and neither one of them are all that stout.
This Panamanian Wi-Fi is holding up strong right now. I'll say.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, by the way, fans, Christian's in Panama. It's been a whole ordeal. We
Yeah,
won't
he's
get
covering a soccer team over there.
started. Go ahead, Dominic.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You froze, but we can hear you.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's carry the show, guys, until he gets back. We got to talk about something here.
Yeah, but thank you. I mean, guys, when you look at, and of course, I look right outside my front window and I see CrossFit High School. So I'm right across the street from it. When you look at CrossFit High School, like Christian alluded to, they are more of a quote unquote football school. But Dominic Lincoln has done an amazing job building this program in the last 4 years. He's building the players' morale. I can tell you that. They do play hard. They play hard-nosed basketball. And both he and the women's basketball coach here at CrossFit have done an amazing job. They're both graduates of CrossFit. So, in my opinion, I've always liked bringing back a hometown touch to coach your kids. I feel like they can relate to them a little bit more for sure. But John, go ahead.
Yeah, you nailed it right on the corner because, like you said, a lot of schools here locally are reaching out to their alumni, and said, or just talking about it in general and say, hey, you want to become a head coach? Like we'll have Wes Shapley on later on today, for example. He's coaching his alma mater, Like you said, to me, a lot of schools need to reach out to their alumni. Like, for example, it's hard enough to get
John,
these alumni to come back to the original school.
Wes is froze this time.
Yeah, he is. He's a type of those pirates.
Oh, man.
We can try to get our other, once he gets back, we can try to get the other guest on here. I don't see Dominic anymore.
Get Wes back on.
Hey.
There we go.
All right, here we go. Hey, we're still on. I apologize if any of our fans just heard that language, by the way. I hope.
No, I didn't hear it. So.
I apologize.
I heard it.
They did not hear it.
I did not hear anything.
Well, I apologize for our fans that did hear it. But like what you're just saying, John, a lot of these coaches, like Wes Shapley, for example, came from Arlington High School, now is at Bartlett High School coaching their women's team. I like it. I mean, look at football, college football, same example. Look at Vanderbilt. Who did they go get? A Nashville native, a kid that played at Vanderbilt. Nebraska, Scott Frost. I mean, you can name it for days and days and days. But I do want to say thank you very much to Dominic Lincoln for being on the show with us today. We did have some technical difficulties, but when our technicality problems were not happening, it was a great interview with him. We hope to have him back on throughout this season to kind of get a breakdown of this CrossFit program and keep him going, for seasons down the road. John, are you ready to get into some a little football, John?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for some more. I'm ready for some NFL talk before we get to college.
Okay. You want to talk a little bit NFL? Okay, we can do that. What you got, man?
Yeah. Well, looking at some of the games early on today, I'm like, the Browns are struggling against the Jets. So the
Man,
Jets are basically up on the Browns.
really?
Our teams play today here. Two
Yeah, the
garbage
Jets are
teams.
forcing.
Two garbage teams this year.
Jets are up on the Browns? Very interesting. Uh,
Yeah, last time I
I think
saw
the
it, yeah.
oh, hold on a second. Dominic is back in the room. Hold on 1 second, guys.
Aaron's muted. Maybe he did that on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know.
There
No,
you
I'm
go.
back. I'm back.
I think I'm back. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes,
Bring
we
them
can hear you.
back.
Yeah, I'm
Bring them
back. I
back.
was
Bring them back.
so I got this. Oh yeah. How you doing, Dominique?
Good. Glad to be back. Glad to be back.
It's the Wi-Fi. We forgive you.
Yeah, we're still live. Everything's good. No big deal. We pushed on in your absence. You
All right,
know,
appreciate
we plugged CrossFit High School. I mean, I look out my front window and I see the gym. So
Yeah.
you know, but I can say this: that new school across the street and that new gym is grade A facility. When you look, I mean, of course, me being from Memphis, John being from there as well, you see the big town schools like Bryant. You were in Bryant, so you understand. The fact that CrossFit Arkansas has a program, or I'm sorry, has the facilities that they have, both in football, basketball, and baseball, to be honest, because they've got three nice, very nice facilities. How does it make you feel, Dominic, for you to be an alumni, for them to bring you back, and then at the same time for them to give you these facilities to grow this program and really make it your own?
Yeah. Honestly, when I ride by, me and Coach Newton, who's back now, he's from here. He's our defense coordinator.
Mhm.
We talk about it's like, man, can you believe we got this in CrossFit? Like this is in CrossFit Arkansas. So to me, it symbolizes just the growth and the progression that we're making, moving forward. And I feel honored to be to have the responsibility of growing this program and taking care of those facilities and things of that nature that you talk about, and honestly, one of the things that Mr. Williams said to me when we were interviewing was, you're young, but I trust you and your reputation that precedes itself from others to be able to manage things, and I know things are going to be in good hands. So I appreciated that from the jump, and it's something that I don't take lightly. And I'll be cleaning the floor. I'm not above doing anything, in that
Right.
gym. I love it, and I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to, have such a facility to work in, because we're fortunate. We go places that a lot of people don't have that. So I try to tell my kids that too. Like you got to take pride in it, and also understand that everybody doesn't have it.
Right.
And Jeremy Evans came from CrossFit.
Yeah.
I'm sure he knows that. I was just telling the viewers, sort of.
Yes, I play with Jeremy. My
You play with him.
Yeah, my ninth grade year, I played with Jeremy. Some I got moved up and played with Jeremy, and then I played with Jeremy my whole life, just playing basketball and being in the gym. So anytime he come home, he goes in there and shoots or whatever. So, yeah, he's definitely from CrossFit. He's a CrossFit guy. Done a lot for CrossFit, and coming back and giving back and having like Jeremy Evans Day and things like that. So he's done a lot.
Dominic, is there any players that you want to talk about in general, maybe that have some offers, like any of your seniors or other?
Yeah, my senior point guard Derek
I
Lucky.
want to talk about.
Yeah, my senior point guard Derek Lucky is he's gonna go play college. He's getting a couple looks at different small schools, Mid South and some D2 schools, Three Rivers and things of that nature. But he's a really good player, and he scored 1,000 points for us in his career. He started since a 10th grader, and he's done a lot. He's very skilled. And then honestly, I'm gonna miss him, but honestly, probably my favorite player is Jack Rice. And I know I probably shouldn't say favorite, but I just really love Jack Rice. He's another senior, and he's a starter, and he does a lot for us. People think he's our best shooter in the league.
Yeah, he can hit some threes. I've seen him play a couple times.
Yeah, he does all. He definitely can shoot it, but I just love the growth he done shown on doing other things, rebounding, being physical, and battling in the inside for us against bigger guys. And he knows everything we're gonna do. If I call something, he knows his position, everybody else's position. So those are the type of players that you don't forget. So I absolutely love Jack Rice. I told him early in the year on senior night when we got to call his name out, I'm gonna cry, but don't tell nobody. So that's my guy. I love Jack, man. Derek and Jack, that was
Oh,
the first group. That's why it's so important for us to try to get the regionals this year, and I want to send those guys out as winners. I want those guys to come in and understand, regardless of what happens, they brought this program to a better place than what it was. So they can hold their head up high when they leave. But I definitely want to get to regionals and get a chance for those guys to experience their senior year and walk out as winners.
Dominic, when you look at this is something that I've always been really intrigued by. When you look at the middle school program, my opinion is I feel like it's very important for the middle school program and the high school programs to run the same exact everything, same playbook, same calls,
Yeah.
same verbiage, everything. Is that something that you try to keep involved in your basketball program here in
Well,
CrossFit?
yeah, I have no choice. We have no choice, even the girls, because we coach 7 through 12. We
Oh,
coach them
that's
all.
right. Yeah, I didn't think
Yeah,
about
we
that. Yeah.
coach them all. So, which can be challenging and you get tired. I'm not gonna lie, but um, you do reap the benefits from it on the back end. Like my ninth graders this year, I had those guys since they was in seventh grade. So they know everything we do in high school. Like you said, every play, every drill, anything, any verbiage or language you want to talk about, terminology, they know it. And then, they know what I expect. So now when they get to high school, I'm not grooming them. We
Right.
already did that. Now we're taking them and we're trying to elevate and go to a higher level and work more basketball. When you're young, you're trying to focus on, shaping them up and, make sure they find the system and do the right things. And, you got to kind of clean them up in a way. I don't want to sound
Yeah.
negative.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So since I get them so early, you can do a lot of that stuff on the front end. And then when they get to high school, you can just continue on developing skills. And, you got to stay doing those things too, but you can focus more on basketball.
Yeah. John, you got anything?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. What I was about to say regarding the middle school and everything like that.
Yeah, like I've watched the CrossFit football program as well, and I feel like the middle school and the high school I think run a very similar style, and it actually may be the very exact same. I don't know to be
Yeah.
exact, but I've always felt like that's the best way to do it. Is middle school and high school runs the same exact program. There's no confusion. You can almost interswap coaches. A lot of the coaches have probably worked, like you said, you work seventh all the way through 12th. So you literally are the only basketball coach across it. So, it's difficult. But Dominic, from me, thank you very much for being on the show with us today. Very happy to have you on. As you know, my wife Bree is a teacher with you,
Huh?
and she spoke nothing but extremely highly of you. And now that you've been on the show, I can definitely vouch for her as well. But our goal with these four star sports show, sorry, is to be able to have you and other CrossFit coaches on throughout the season and really start getting a program to follow this school and get their information and get these kids out there because I'm really impressed with what I've seen out of CrossFit, and I want to give them a show that they can come on and really show how great these kids and how great this program is.
Yeah, for sure. I absolutely love being on, and I appreciate you inviting me and all you guys and sitting down and talking to me and letting me talk about my program and CrossFit. So it's definitely a great show you guys got going, and I look forward to being on again, and then I look forward to keeping up and following and listening and other coaches coming on, and watching them and hear what they got to say and things of that nature. So I'll be following. I'll be following. So. You got another fan in
Awesome.
me.
Well, thank you very much. Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very much, Dominic. John, Aaron, do y'all have anything else for him?
Dominique,
Hey.
if you ever need a phone number for a Tennessee coach out in Memphis, let Wes know or let me know on Facebook, and we'll be glad to play you.
All right. Sure, I will.
Hey, I wish you the best
We'll
this
come to you.
season.
Sir, I'm sorry.
I wish you the best this season. I hope your seniors get that regionals and state. I hope they get to experience all that and really get to finish strong. So we'll be supporting you and watching, and it's going to be fun.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'll make sure I let the guys know too that you guys are wishing them well.
All right, thank you,
Absolutely.
Dominic. We appreciate it, man.
No problem.
All right, guys. We are still live. We are getting ready to break down some bowl games that have happened thus far. We saw a crazy great game last night. Memphis was in a bowl game against some team named FAU recently. We're going to talk it all over. Getting ready to bring on, just to give him a little intro, a guy that I've known for years. Went to high school together, played a little football together back in the day as well. Let me bring him on now. This guy right here is a big Alabama fan. But that's him right there. His name is Nathan Wilson. Nathan, thank you very much for being one of the guests on the inaugural 4-Star Sports Show episode of our show.
Welcome, brother.
So, Nathan, what is the most craziest part of this 2020 football season to you so far, man?
Oh man, I think it's just the capacity in the stadiums right now. I love the hype of the fans. I love sold out stadiums, watching these big games and everything but without the fans being there and the capacity to I think it's like 25%. It doesn't have that.
12% too.
Yeah, it just doesn't have that. I mean, I don't know, the excitement or anything like for any big upset or anything like that. No fans rushing the field. None of that kind of stuff.
Hey, we had that with Clemson and Notre Dame.
One time
this season. It was there. Hey, but at least it wasn't zero. It wasn't zero times.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and I think a lot of it, and I mean, as one who's tailgated at Memphis Tiger football games for my entire life, once you take the tailgating aspect out of college football, it changes the entire environment. I mean, what's Ole Miss without the Grove? What's
Yeah.
I mean, I could go on and on and on, but Ole Miss ain't much without the Grove anyway. The Grove's not that impressive to me. But I mean, once you take that tailgating aspect out of it, it takes, I don't want to say it takes a lot of the fun out, but it does. It takes a lot of the fun out, and it takes that family environment out of it as well, in my opinion, because you've got little kids that their parents did it, their kids do it. Well, y'all know how it is. Y'all know how it is. John, let's talk some bowl games, man. I miss talking trash too. I understand. I do too. John, do you want to talk a little bowl games, man?
Yeah, we can talk about some bowl games. Breaking news: the Steelers just took the lead.
Oh, really? Give me the most exciting bowl game you've watched thus far, John, and I'll go all the way around the table here.
Well,
I know what my answer is. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to go with the obvious one yesterday because Coastal Carolina and good old Liberty, where Liberty tried to score. And I'm like, we'll just need a ball 3 more times and go for the field goal. But that's just me. But, yeah, what an interesting end of the game that game was when Liberty blocked Coastal Carolina's field goal attempt in overtime as well.
Yeah, they cost me a win in my picks, so I'm not real happy about it.
Well, they cost everybody a win.
I know we all picked Coastal, but I can say this: I am very happy for Hugh Freeze. He's made some decisions in his life that came back to bite him in the backside, and that happens to all of us. That's life. But the way that the job that he has done at Liberty, I think is absolutely incredible. He's obviously had some people come after him, and he evidently wants to stay at Liberty. So he feels comfortable enough. His family feels comfortable enough there. But I think that's a big win last night for him. And I think if you're a G5, a group of 5 school, I think that last night, in my opinion, gives me the. I mean, why not give us a playoff? I mean, why not give the group of five a playoff? I understand it's different, but you don't have to change any of the bowls. You can keep the same bowl games. Just deem some of these bowl games as a group of five playoff and let us have a daggone playoff too. And I say us as a Memphis fan, but we talked about it, and I'm gonna go ahead and get back on my soapbox since we changed the name on the show so I can do this. The playoff that is currently in order is a crock of crap. It is a joke. There's five slots. There's five big conferences, four slots. It's doomed to fail from the very beginning. Uh, I mean, Nathan can attest to this. Look at Alabama. I'm not trying to talk bad about Alabama. I know you're a big Alabama fan, but the year Alabama did not make their own conference championship and they go to the playoffs, that should not happen. Considering that the committee comes out and says, "Oh, they're a conference champion." Right. So is Cincinnati. Cincinnati's still undefeated. Cincinnati hasn't lost. Cincinnati didn't get blown out by Kansas State. Cincinnati didn't get blown out by. I mean, I can go on and on. Anyway,
There's two.
I think the way you solve this, yeah, there is. I think the way you solve this is if you can keep this Power Five playoff, that's fine. Do the same thing for the group of five. But here's the thing: expand both of them to 8. Put 8 teams in both, and I think that eliminates all the argument from all across the nation. I think. I mean, what's y'all's opinion? Do y'all agree with that or no? Go ahead.
Yeah,
Aaron.
yeah. So, yeah, I think that would even make bowl season itself more exciting. More like because that's one thing, one reason why I love March Madness because every single game you're watching matters like nobody's business. And if we can turn bowl season into that, that would be cool. And 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 I've already said it. The American is hands down better than the Pac-12. Let's stop it with this group of 5. And also, Liberty is an independent, so that means Liberty is should be considered as Notre Dame's equal if Notre Dame goes back to independent because they're independent school. So you just strengthen Liberty's schedule a little bit. Liberty is a playoff hopeful team. Because they're not even in the group of 5, you know. And same with BYU. You strengthen their schedule, they can go to the playoff too. You take BYU's schedule, original 2020 schedule, and they go undefeated in that schedule. I think you possibly might see them in the playoff. Like, I mean, I believe it was strong enough. You had plenty of Power 5 opponents, and like, I mean, it was strong. I think what will help a Memphis or a Cincinnati is like go up in the non-conference. Let's quit. Like, I don't know if y'all play like the FCS and I get the FCS, you know, they make money and all this, but I don't really care about all that. I'm all about fun competition, you know, and you know, it's like make put Alabama in your schedule, put Oregon in your schedule, you know, as a Memphis or a Cincinnati. You know, and that way it's like, oh, their conference is weak, but did you see who they played non-conference? You can't argue with that, you know what I mean? And then that forces these schools to grow and even get better players. So that means it's like if Cincinnati's playing these really good schools and they're going 9-3 every year just because their 3 losses are against top 10 teams, then all of a sudden maybe it's like, oh wait, we play more than just all the American. We play Oregon. We play all these really, really good schools, and then all of a sudden recruits will start seeing them and being like, okay. And then I think in that case, you'll start seeing the group of 5 going into the playoffs.
It sounds so simple, but why can't they just do that? You know what I mean?
Well,
I mean, what hurts the American Conference?
Here's my opinion. Here's the thing. Oh, go ahead, John.
Well, what I was going to say, what hurts the American in general, like the SEC teams have this non-conference schedule like 10 years out, for example, as well. So that's what kind of hurts, like in Memphis, to play like Florida or somebody like
Ole
that.
Miss or something. Yeah.
Right.
That's
Although
true.
we already
They
got
do have to
in the
mix.
future, we already got like Mississippi State and Arkansas on the schedule again in the future. But like for example, a lot of conferences like the SEC, they had this non-conference schedule out 10 years out. But like I love how
And
UCF, for example, is like doing a home and home with Boise, which that could be basically a conference game now. Maybe in the next 2 years they're talking about.
Mhm.
But I'd rather see, like you said, Aaron, a 5 through 8 Power Five. I'd like to see the Mountain West champion, the maybe the Conference USA champion, the American champion, and maybe the independent champion or something
Well,
like that in the
yeah.
5 through 8 playoff.
but see, here's the thing: Notre Dame being an independent, and then also Notre Dame being tied in with the playoff. Oh, if Notre Dame wins 10 games, they can automatically go to the playoff. Well, that's a crock of crap because you've got all these other independents that are still playing football now, albeit they're not playing the schedule Notre Dame may play. But here's my thesis on how you fix this. Moving forward, you don't schedule games 10 years out anymore. You quit doing that.
Yes.
I get
Yes.
it. I understand why you do it. Okay. Take for instance example Memphis and Arkansas. They've got a game scheduled in 2025. That's fine. That's what 4 years, 5 years away. That's fine.
Mhm.
5 years is a max. But instead of scheduling all these FC, now nothing against the SEC. I'm not talking bad about Alabama. I promise Nathan I'm not. But 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 when you schedule when you have the SEC schedule, which we know is a gauntlet of good teams and teams that are going to beat you up all year long, I understand why Alabama schedules Helen Keller, you, Ray Charles, you, Stevie Wonder, you, and somebody else. But
Oh, baby, them.
exactly, Alabama A&M. But here's the thing: moving forward, the BCS or I'm sorry, the playoff committee should come out and be like, look, no more FCS teams. Period. You don't play anymore. If you do and you beat them, it does not count. You do not get a win for that. But instead of Alabama having to or getting to play whoever they want, make it where Alabama's got to go play one team from the ACC, one team from the Big 12, one team from the Pac-10, one team from the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Every other conference the same way. Ohio State has to play somebody from the SEC, somebody from the ACC, and then same thing with Memphis. You can do it all the way across the board. If you're Memphis, you can't play uh who did we play this year, John? Sam Houston State or Stephen F. Austin or whatever. You can't play them.
Well, that was
If
a
you're
pickup
Memphis,
from
you got to go
Martin, but
play
yeah.
somebody. But I mean, my
Yeah.
thing is if you're Memphis, you have to go play somebody
Mhm.
from the SEC. You've got to go play somebody from the Big 12. It creates not necessarily an equal playing field, but it tells you who's good and who ain't. That way,
Mhm.
we're not looking at a 5-0 Ohio State team that their best game is against an Indiana team. Oh, and by the way, they only won by 7 points, and then they
Mhm.
turn around and they don't play good against Northwestern. I've got so many issues. That's my
Yeah.
opinion on how I would
Look,
fix it. I don't know if y'all
look,
like that or not.
no. I agree with a lot of that. But my thing is this, and I'm gonna go with the playoff selection that they picked right now. You got Ohio State only played 6 games. All right. At first, they weren't even going to have a season. Then all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, never mind, we're going to do this." And then half their games get canceled. They don't play Michigan. They don't play whoever else. And
Wisconsin, numerous other
yeah,
teams. Yeah.
Wisconsin and all those. So any one of those teams could have been an upset for them. So
Yeah.
and then they get to the bowl game and play Northwestern, in which Northwestern, I mean, you got to give it to them. They bow had them.
They gave them all they wanted. I can tell you that.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
But and then you got Notre Dame. Yes, they beat Clemson regular season, but they beat Clemson without Trevor Lawrence. And they proved when Trevor Lawrence played in that game in the championship, in their conference championship, Trevor Lawrence blew them out. So who's not to say when they had him then that they would have blown him out then?
Mhm.
But the reason that the committee hates it is the committee doesn't want one thing that SEC fans can agree. They don't want to see the committee doesn't want to see two SEC teams in that playoff. A&M deserves it. I believe they do. They really do. Get Notre Dame out of there. Get Ohio State out. Put Texas A&M in because they earned it. They lost to us, and it's like Jimbo Fisher said. We had Waddle. We had Jalen Waddle when we played A&M. And that's not to say Jalen Waddle is. I mean, it's a possibility he might be playing in the college football playoff with us. We don't know yet, but give A&M, give all these other teams a shot. Ohio State, they've been in it. They've gotten beat. Notre Dame, the last time Notre Dame made it to the BCS title game, they played Alabama. Alabama blew them out. Now, I don't know what this year's to hold. I don't want to get my head too far ahead of myself, but the playoff committee needs
Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it, Nathan. You do. You do.
I'm not going to say it.
As an Alabama, but I mean,
Notre Dame.
Let's be honest. Based on everything we've seen, Alabama is the best team in the country.
Most definitely.
Everybody will agree with that. But here's my thing. I agree. Go ahead.
Okay, I
No,
really wanted to
well, I was gonna say
also
the-
emphasize. Yeah, I want to emphasize on the FCS, like really quick. Just I know how we can take care of that because even this season, 2020, FCS is playing in the spring. How about they continue that going? And then that means they get their own fan base, their own eyes, and people can just watch them, and they don't have to worry about playing Alabama and all these other really, really good teams, and that can strengthen teams like Cincinnati and others schedule. And also, but yeah, I just wanted to go into that, like continue like this part of 2020, splitting those two leagues up.
Yeah, I think you split them, and then like I said, if you make it where each team has to play one team from these other conferences by process of elimination, it's gonna strengthen their schedules. Nathan, you're not driving yet, are you? You ain't on the road yet, are you?
Nah, dude, I don't get called out until like midnight tonight.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure. All right.
Yeah.
No, what I was going to say is the NCAA did say like a couple of years ago, if like for example, Alabama used to play two FCS teams, only one of them counts toward your record now, and I'm still okay with that rule, to be honest with you as well.
Why should either one of them count, John? I mean,
one of them should
I'm being
count,
serious. That's the question.
but both of them no.
Why? Why would you count that? There's no way they're going to beat Alabama.
We never thought
no way.
Appalachian State would beat Michigan.
Okay, touche. But I mean, come on. Unless
wait a minute.
Lightning strikes Tuscaloosa.
But you also forget about Jacksonville State when they beat Ole Miss.
Okay, touche.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Yeah, I totally forgot about that one. Okay, one's fine. Really, I don't like either one of them, but one's fine. All right, let's get into some bowl games, John.
I was down in Oxford for a family reunion during that game. It was awesome.
Yeah, I know it was. I'd have been talking some cash money crap. All right, up first game was this past Monday, December 21st. We had Appalachian State taking on North Texas. Appalachian State walked away with this pretty easily, 56-28. Guys, I hate to say it, but after Coastal Carolina's loss to Liberty, does that make Appalachian State the best team in Conference USA? I mean, the Sun Belt. I'm sorry. Christian, you're on mute, buddy. I see your lips moving, but I don't hear you. Hey, there he is. Go ahead.
There you go. It's the pain of logic.
Hello.
Christian.
What were you
Didn't
saying?
Liberty beat did App State beat Liberty?
Uh,
Were they
No,
yes,
North Carolina
I
State
don't
beat
even think they
Liberty.
played.
yes,
did they?
yes. Sorry, NC State beat Liberty. Yes, you are correct, John.
okay? So yeah, I guess App State would be the best team.
I think it makes them the best. I mean, I think App State's really good. Of course, we've seen what they can do over the past 3 years with these 3 coaches that they've had. They're fun to watch, that's for sure. John,
You know, an interesting
what
fact in that game. Appalachian State running back had over 300 yards rushing in that game,
Wow.
and that's one of their
dude's a
good
beast,
things
man.
this year. That's one of the things good about Appalachian State this year. They were averaging at least over 200 yards on the ground per game,
Yeah,
and I was like, maybe North Texas had a shot early on because they were able to stop the running game pretty well, but North
He had
Texas defense, yeah,
319
they had
yards and
300
five
plus rushing yards.
touchdowns. 5 touchdowns
yeah,
as well.
it was crazy. John, what do you think about BYU? Give me your honest. I want to get everybody's honest opinion on BYU, and then I'll
He
give you
doesn't
mine.
like BYU.
But yeah, John.
I can't stand it from the Miami Beach Bowl, but
They played
but
Memphis.
you
There's
gotta
like a
give
brawl, wasn't there?
BYU a lot of credit. You know, especially this year, playing like they played Coastal on a week notice or like a few
That was
day
a
notice, and
that was that Tinder date game. Yeah.
yeah, so basically I gotta give BYU a lot of. I'm giving BYU a good season in general, just because the way they were traveling, 2,000 miles, at times getting COVID tested the day before, at times. The BYU UCF game, I know their defense was what impressed me the most this year going into these games. Like you hold UCF, I know UCF's offense in general has been kind of iffy, but you holding UCF to 23 points and pretty much all in the second half, and then
Yeah.
you're holding Dylan Gabriel way below his average. You're holding Randy Shannon's defense. I mean, Randy Shannon's defense just wasn't up to par in that game. Zach Wilson to
They
me
sucked,
is
John. They
probably
sucked all year. UCF's defense has sucked all year. I'll say it. I don't care.
Wait. I'll say this. Though. UCF is hurting right now because I did see this. Mackenzie Milton going to Florida State. So
I
Coach
called it.
Florida
Norvell,
State back on the map.
yeah,
I called
Coach
it the second. The
Norvell
second. The
got him
second that
quarterback.
Joker said he was going. You can ask John. I said he'll be at
That
Florida
put them
State.
back on the map.
Yep.
Yep.
Question.
That's a
But
smart
hey,
move
I
by
think
Norvell. I mean,
real
it
quick,
is. That's a smart
what I
move
was
by
gonna say,
Norvell. I think. Oh, go ahead, John.
what I was saying about BYU, I think Zach Wilson had raised his stock the last couple of games as well to probably
Yeah.
maybe the second quarterback taken in the NFL draft this year behind Justin Fields.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I mean, not
behind
behind
who?
Justin Fields.
You said
Behind
behind
Trevor
Justin
Lawrence.
Fields?
I was about to
I
say
meant Trevor.
there's going to be.
I don't know. Justin
Hang
Fields.
on.
Wow.
I
Fields
met
will be
Trevor
third.
Lawrence. I met Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and then Justin Fields. That's what
I
I
think
meant.
But
Fields
what
will go
about
second.
Mac Jones? Like,
He'll
what,
be the
what,
fourth one taken. He'll be the
okay,
fourth
he'll
one
be the
taken.
fourth one. All right.
It's.
There's in the Heisman.
What about Trask?
You never know,
I mean,
people.
crap. I don't think Trask is a first round quarterback. I think he's good.
Maybe a
Don't get me
5.
wrong. I think he's good. I think Mac Jones is a late second round draft
Okay.
pick. I think it'll go Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, and then it'll go the Mormon Manziel, Zach Wilson. I think the guy's a stud. I think he can sling it. That's for damn sure. But a guy that I really am impressed with is this BYU head coach. This what's his name? Sataki, whatever his name. That guy's awesome, man. The guy's good. He's impressive. I'm kind of like John. I really don't like BYU because of that Miami Bowl, but they've moved on from Bronco Mendenhall. I'm not a Bronco Mendenhall fan. But I think the more unimpressive thing is Central Florida. We talked about it the night that we were doing all these game picks. Josh Heupel, to me, first off, the Randy Shannon hire as defensive coordinator was suspect to begin with because the guy's just not that great. I don't think. This is all my opinion. But Josh Heupel, as we've talked about, he did not make a dadgum adjustment during the entire game. You've got to make adjustments against this guy. Zach Wilson's running it, throwing it. I mean, his grandma could throw it. He had so much time. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it was crazy. But you had that game, which I think.
One sack on defense.
Thank you. That's my point, John. Thank you. You made my point. I like BYU. I like Sataki. I think he'll end up going somewhere else, honestly. I know he played at BYU and he may stick around. But yeah, I think the Mormon Manziel will be the fourth quarterback taken. I think Mac Jones will be taken second overall.
See, here's what I got to say about Mac. Now, Mac, I mean, you got to give the boy credit. He was a backup for Jalen Hurts. He was a backup for Tua Tagovailoa. Finally gets his shot, comes out. He is a pocket passer and one of the best. I'm a fan, but he's really good. If you watch him play, you see him in a pocket. He doesn't rush anything, and when he does, I mean, it makes up for it. But my thing is this, and this was during the Alabama-Arkansas game, and Wes, I'm sure you watched that game. But
I didn't watch much of it. Nathan, but go ahead.
I didn't watch it much either.
But during the Arkansas-Alabama game, they were talking about Mac. One of the broadcast announcer was saying that Mac Jones, that the NFL is not looking for no pocket passing quarterbacks anymore. That they want these dual threat quarterbacks and all that. And which I sat there and I was like, dude, somebody needs to correct this guy because there's still pocket passing quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Does Aaron Rodgers run around?
No, Aaron Rodgers doesn't. When have you seen Tom Brady run around, for crying out loud?
At Michigan, and not much then.
Yeah. I mean, that's like
really?
RG. Well, that's like RG3. You know, when he was at Baylor, he ran, and then when he got to the NFL, he ran a few times, and then when he got hurt, he don't want to run no more.
Yeah, he ran directly into a brick wall. Is what he ran into.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's the thing. You go ask Kyler Murray how much fun it is to go to a team that has no offensive line. Because when he got to Arizona, they had no offensive line.
No.
I mean, you know, whoever is taken first, which I think will be Trevor Lawrence. I just feel like he is the overall number one player to be taken.
The Jets won again.
I would like to see him. Did they really? The Jets won again, so it's Jacksonville. So he's going to Jacksonville.
He's going to Jacksonville.
Okay, cool. Well, good. That's where I would want him to go the whole time.
Unless he goes to Eli Manning, he's.
Oh yeah.
Oh, let's not. No. Here's the thing. I think had he gone to the Jets, I would have done it. I'd been like, no, not me. Nope. Y'all can take Justin Fields, not me. I'm not going.
He's probably backing in the back. Anybody else want to walk up there and take that jersey?
Exactly. Yeah, anybody but me.
The real question is, will Sam Darnold stay with the Jets?
No, I don't think he will. I think they're going to move on from him. I like Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold is a good quarterback, but that's what happens when you go to the Jets. I mean, they're just terrible, John. But it's not even that the Jets are that bad. It's their upper. I mean, it's like the whole top to bottom. I mean, from general manager to president to it just the shit rolls down the hill. It's just terrible. It's just not good. It's not good. John, what do you think about Nevada beating Tulane as bad as they did? Albeit,
well, I was the only one that picked Nevada. Get some credit for that.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I let you do it, so you could toot your own horn. Go ahead. I'll be right back, guys.
Oh man.
Oh Lord. But Aaron, what do you think about it?
So I was trying to find
I mean, I was kind of
Yeah. I was trying to
What I was going to say
find.
was I'm kind of not surprised by the outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the outcome.
I mean, looking at the box score, looking at the box score again a little bit more in detail, I was like, Nevada or Tulane, like we talked about in our bowl show,
Hmm.
they're missing their offensive coordinator, Will Hall. He took a job
Yeah.
at Southern Miss, which I think he'll be in the long run probably one of the under best hires the conference USA could have gotten in so many years as well.
Yeah.
But Nevada is basically just took it to him.
Well, see, my deal was I made my pick because I have. So here's my thing. I have intense respect for the American Conference, which Tulane is in the American, and I have zero respect or very limited respect for anything out west except BYU right now. But could be wrong,
He
Like,
said limited respect. I like that. You don't quite say they suck, but you don't quite say they don't. I like that. Good.
yeah, and that's why I strongly made my pick for Tulane, just because in my mind I was all like, okay, I gotta look at the whole conference, but it's like, oh, Cincinnati's good. Ooh, Tulsa's looking good. Ooh, all these teams are good, and I'm like, oh, look, let's see who Tulane's played. So then I try to look into that, and then I'm just like, I'm gonna pick Tulane, and then that was obviously the wrong decision.
Yeah.
The Mountain West Conference is also good. It's just they haven't played as much games. It's hard to gauge this year. This year's tough, and because some play only 4 games and others play 11 games. So it's like it's crazy.
I thought Nevada basically put pressure on that freshman quarterback from the beginning of the game till the end of the game, with him having like 2 or 3 interceptions. And to me, that was really the key of the game going into that game, putting pressure on a decent Tulane quarterback, because Tulane can score some points. It's just, Nevada's, I think, defense and offense was just clicking off cylinders, especially when they have a wildcat formation that they were using pretty well as well, going into that game as well, with Nevada running and passing the ball all over Tulane's shaky defense all season.
All right, let me go ahead and say this about the
And
Big
I
Ten.
think Hawaii.
Hold on a second, Christian. We were talking about Ohio State. Not only did the Big Ten start late, that's their own fault. Number 2, they can't come up with a rule that said you had to play 6 games in order to make their conference championship. But then they find out, oh crap, Ohio State didn't play 6 games. Here's the thing: if Ohio State wouldn't have played, Indiana was on COVID protocol that week. That would have put Penn State at 3 and Jesus against Northwestern. And the Big Ten did not want that. That's why that decision was made. It had nothing to do with anything other than that, I don't think. But sorry, let's get back to the bowl game. Sorry, that was just on my mind, and I had to get it off. Go ahead, Christian.
I just was looking at the bowl games, and it was surprising to me that the defense Hawaii played against Houston, only allowing 14 points. I mean,
Yeah, most definitely. That Hawaii football team is pretty good, man. I mean, we've been picking them all daggum year. Every time they play, I feel like one of us picks Hawaii. Either me, John, or Christian one is going to pick them. I like Todd Graham. I love the job that he's doing down there. He's done a great job everywhere he's been. John, did you watch? Did you watch that Memphis game Wednesday? John,
What?
did you watch the
You're
Memphis
going
game?
in and out, Wes. Well, hang on.
Oh, I am. Sorry.
Real quick. But you're talking.
Oh,
Christian made an interesting point, holding Houston defense or offense to 14 points. Hawaii blitzed the whole night pretty much against Houston, and they were talking about how Todd Grantham is actually running the defense now as well. So that's a great defense is staying by Hawaii. I had Houston just because of the travel for Hawaii this year, but but yeah, I watched the Memphis game.
What'd you think? I thought our
I'm not gonna
defense looked
lie.
good. I thought our
I
defense
thought
played great.
Surprised by
I
that
thought
score.
all the Memphis people that want Mike McIntyre fired can shut up now. You know,
Thank you.
I thought all the people that say Ryan Silverfield should be fired can shut up now. Uh, the only
Say it louder
downside
for the
about
people
this,
in the back.
they, they, I mean, I'm happy that we had a decent running game going in this game now. I mean, not going. I just game did pretty well.
John is frozen, and I
Of course,
love that
Brady
face. But
White
go ahead.
threw over 200 yards passing. Threw over 200 yards passing. JoJo Dorsey's got his own touchdown as
Yeah,
well.
that was fun to see.
The Sun Belt officials were okay, I guess, in that game as well.
Those were American
Although I'm
Athletic
still
officials.
no, they were the Sun Belt after all. I found out.
Oh, really? They announced
Yeah, they were
during the
just
game that it was American Athletic, so that's why.
Yeah, but I was in the Evolution on the way to work, and he said it was the Sun Belt official because I found out Brett Toney, a former Memphis quarterback, actually refereed that game. So,
cool.
so I've given the game ball to our defense, like you said, going into this game because our defense has been struggling all year against a 2 quarterback rotation. Um, we held one of their quarterbacks to 5 yards passing, which is pretty good. I mean, we're losing our special team coach now to South Carolina now. So the future looks bright at Memphis football. I'm anxious to see how year 2 goes with Ryan Silverfield at the helm.
Oh, I think the future is extremely bright for Memphis football. I think if you look at Ryan Silverfield and the job that he has done this year, with everything he's had to deal with, really, let's go back to when it all started. Mike Norvell leaves, goes to Florida State right before the Cotton Bowl, which really ticked me off. But so then Ryan Silverfield comes in, he coaches the Cotton Bowl. Then you've got the offseason, but then COVID hits. So once COVID hits, there's no spring, there's no, you know what I mean? There's nothing. For him to have done the job that he's done, to win a bowl game, which is something that Mike Norvell never did, as great of a coach as Mike Norvell was at Memphis, he couldn't win the big game. The big game being a bowl game, a game that really gets you recruits, that gets you TV time, that puts you in an upper tier against a different competition. He didn't do it. That was very frustrating as a Tiger fan with Mike Norvell as at the head. We look great. We play great on Saturday. We look great on ESPN. We look great. You know what I mean? We look good on game day, all that, but you can't win the big game. I mean, that's frustrating. But
All right,
Ryan Silverfield.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'm gonna say I'm putting you on the spot before you ask another question regarding Ryan Silverfield. How would you rate the offense, defense, and special this year in general, like grades?
All right, you kind of sounded like something off of Star Wars because you were breaking up, but I think I've got figured out what you said. I believe you said
Okay.
offense, defense, special teams. Okay, I got you. All right. Offensively, I think Brady White is the savior for Memphis football. I think any Memphis football fan that tells you different is not watching a game. We are not in the Cotton Bowl last year without Brady White. There's no question about that in my mind, and I don't think it should be anybody else's mind. Keep in mind, these are just my opinions. If y'all don't like it, sorry. But that's why it's 4-star sports show. It's 4 people. We have 4 opinions, and we're not quite good enough yet to get that 5th star right there. But we'll get there one day. But John, offensively, yes, losing Kenneth Gainwell hurt very badly. Losing DeMonte Coxey hurt very badly. Losing TJ Carter at the beginning of the year on the defensive side of the ball hurt a lot. We had some injuries that we had to deal with. Of course, we have to deal with that every year. So I understand that a lot of it's excuses, whatever. Then you throw COVID into all that mix. I think our offense did very well this year, to be honest with you. Guys like Taj Washington stepping up and playing well. Who else? Ivory. That Javon Ivory kid, John. Or guys, I love watching that guy play. Got a lot of spunk, a lot of pop to him. Asia Martin's a lot of fun at the running back position. Numerous others. But this is defensively. You look at Mike McIntyre. He comes in. He's a new defensive coordinator, so it's a new system to learn for these players. Um, Plus, with injuries and everything else, it's going to take a while to get that transition right. But I think if you look at the bowl game this past Wednesday night, our defense, when given time and when healthy, they fly around the field and look pretty daggum good on the defensive side of the ball. Special teams, I love it. I think, in my opinion, more special teams the past at least 3 to 4 years. If you look at what Tony Pollard did, Anthony Miller, numerous others on special teams for Memphis, we're a definite threat there. I think all in all, John, total season grade for Memphis. And we'll also do one for Arkansas once we talk about their bowl game coming up next weekend. But all in all, grade for Memphis. And I'll give a grade for the staff, then give a grade for this team. Team wise, I would give it a B minus. Um, Staff wise, I would give it a B plus. I think if you look at the job that Silverfield did with everything he lost with, and as well as you went from being an offensive line coach to a head coach. That's a big transition. So, yeah, I give it a B plus, B minus for staff and grade, staff and team grades. What about you, John? I mean, you can give
Yeah.
grades. You don't have to be as discreet as I was or whatever.
No, the only thing really concerned me was the offensive line in most of the year toward the end of the year, and that's the only real concern I really had. I mean, our defense will come and get better game by game. It's going to take time under a new defensive coordinator. Like you said,
Music
I
City Bowl
think
is canceled, by the
the
way.
future does look bright.
Really?
It's
Just got
going
that
to be
notification.
interesting here.
Breaking news, John.
Maybe.
Breaking news. Breaking news, John.
Oh,
Sorry
wow.
to cut you off. We got breaking news out of the Four-Star Sports Show
No, you're fine.
update center. Motor City Bowl has been canceled.
Music City.
Sorry,
Music City Bowl.
has been canceled. Of course, also breaking news. Just to give all y'all a national news update, there was another van or RV or some type of
Heard about that.
something that was playing the same recording as the one that went off yesterday in Nashville. It was found in Lebanon, Tennessee, which is not too far away from Nashville. But definitely thoughts and prayers to
wow.
everyone in Nashville right now with everything they've got going on. Don't know what the motive is or anything like that, but definitely crazy times. But go ahead, John.
Yeah, what I was going to also say, it's going to be interesting next year who the Memphis quarterback will be, especially when you got Jeremiah Oswalt coming in from Austin P, Parrish coming in from LSU. You got the it's going to be interesting who's the quarterback next year for Memphis.
Keelan Smith,
But also,
John. You ever heard that name? Keelan Smith?
I've heard he played pretty decent last year for Arizona.
No. Keelan Smith is already on the Memphis roster. Nobody's talking about that kid. That kid is a stud.
That's
He's
what
out of Starkville. He's
No.
out of Zachary, Louisiana. He's not the LSU kid. That's Parrish. This kid's out of Zachary, Louisiana.
Right.
We brought him in last year, and he redshirted or whatever, or COVID shirted, whatever you call it. But yeah, I think I think he may be the man. I honestly do. Now, them bringing in this guy from Arizona, that changes my perspective a little bit. I don't think the kid from LSU is going to be on the team. Just my opinion. But I think we're going to move on from him. With us bringing that kid in from Arizona, that kind of stacks the quarterback room up a little bit. But here's the thing. I don't know. Next year, quarterback wise for Memphis is going to be very interesting. John, did you think Louisiana Tech would score more than 3 points against Georgia Southern? Because I sure did.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Too.
3 points in a bowl game?
I learned
mean,
something
that
about
gum.
Georgia Southern though. That's a good football team.
They are.
I
They
slept
really
on,
are.
I slept on them.
I did
They've
too.
always had a
I did
decent
too.
good team, though.
They've been decent, but man, I didn't think. I mean, they flat out whooped them boys. They flat out beat them bad. That was
My perception of them has changed.
Yeah, most definitely, most
Well,
definitely. And that's another reason I enjoy bowl
Yeah, I
games because we get to
Coach
see
Holtz-
teams like
yeah. I guess the reason that I didn't think Vontae to win, did I? Yeah,
You
I did.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
I
you
thought,
did.
hang on
Trying
a
to
minute.
go back on it now.
Yeah, I did. Everybody did, but we all did.
We're not talking about us,
Coach
John. We're
Holtz's
talking
offense
about
was
you.
gonna be basically
You picked them.
No, we're talking about all of them. But I thought Coach Holtz's offense would score more than 3 points. Coach Holtz, I really thought Coach Holtz, has been an offensive guru a little bit since the East Carolina days. I thought, okay. Plus, La Tech was playing close to home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like with that Central Florida BYU game, BYU still had to travel all the way across the country. I mean, crap. Central Florida they went from Orlando to Boca Raton, and guess what?
Yeah.
That's not that far. I mean, compared to freaking BYU travel
3 hours.
From Utah.
No, they travel more than 3 hours. Oh, I mean, yeah, from Provo, Utah, that's probably, I mean, just off the top of my head, I'd say
3-hour flight.
2,100 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, from
Orlando
to
to
Boca, it's like 3 hours.
Right.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours. Yeah. But I mean, like I just said, that's why I enjoy bowl games. You get a chance to watch a Liberty and a Coastal Carolina just absolutely tear it up last night.
And that game's last night, or when I really missed fans. I mean, that would have just added to the whole. That would have added to the whole, experience.
Because you know that bowl game. Now, some of these bowl games, the stadium would have looked like that anyway. The fans just won't go to them. But this bowl game, I feel like that stadium would have been packed full. I mean, it would have been rocking.
Oh yeah, well that's the matchup that game day was supposed to be at when BYU and them had the Tennessee, because Liberty had to step away because of COVID. I believe. So,
I mean, I feel like all three of them are like equals to my eyes. So them just flipping Liberty and BYU, I was just as excited. They're both like smaller school. It's like it was still going to be a good matchup regardless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. Georgia State, Western Kentucky. John, let me go back to the Florida Atlantic real quick. Speaking of Western Kentucky, it made me think of Willie Taggart. I don't think Willie Taggart's a very good football coach. And there's nothing again. I'm not trying to badmouth the guy. I just every team that I've ever watched of his, and that's from Western Kentucky to Florida State to Oregon to now Florida Atlantic, they've always been very undisciplined, and it seems to cost them in big games. And if you go back look at that Western Kentucky team, I don't know why their game plan on defense was to try to stand our guy up running the ball and try to it as much as they could because the guy would carry them like 3-4 yards every time they try to do it. So I never really understood that whole strategy. But
Mhm.
how chippy was that game? I mean, did all four of y'all watch the game? Three of y'all watched the game, the Memphis FAU game.
I watched a little bit of it. I noticed
Did you?
there was some chippiness
I did
later in the
not.
game.
I just assumed Memphis would run away with it, which they did. But
Yeah, they did. I mean, if you look at the final score, 25-10, you think, oh, that's kind of close. It really, honestly, I don't feel like it was. The final score was not indicative of how the game was played. But that game was chippy. I mean, that game was just. I mean, was it me just saying that, or was that? I mean, did you see the same thing, John? Or
I saw it, yeah, because looking at their player punched one of our players, and I thought our
yeah,
player reacted pretty well to it and
yeah,
just didn't do anything at all. And that just
Mhm.
shows, like Coach Silverville said in his post game conference
Yes, sir.
or interviews, it shows that our guys are more disciplined
yeah,
on and off the
yeah.
field than the previous years when they were, you know, disciplined. I mean, they were getting dumb penalties
BYU.
at times. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I gotta give
Just looking. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm getting to the point where are these referees even warning the coaches before these bowl games and letting them know on how they're going to call stuff in case of like another fight breaks out and stuff like that.
I don't know. I've often kind of thought the same thing. I've often wondered it myself. Uh,
If that makes sense.
yeah, it does. It does. It makes total sense. Aaron,
Yes.
looking forward into the future
Hmm.
of bowl games coming up this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know you were looking forward to the game on Thursday at 7 p.m.
I
And
got a
at
question
the
for y'all
Texas
real
Bowl.
quick.
I know
Can I ask
that
y'all?
because I'm excited about that game too. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Yes.
I was going to tell y'all before we talk about the future games real quick before we get our next interview on. But I
Mhm.
want to give a lot of credit to UTSA as a whole as well.
Hmm.
They played, with some
Oh
passion
yeah,
this game against Lafayette. I don't remember their head coach ended up coaching that game because of COVID protocol. But UTSA put one of the biggest fights in the bowl games up to par so far because they held Louisiana Lafayette's offense in check pretty well the whole ball game as well. I know Louisiana Lafayette scored
Well,
31, but
Barry
when you
Lunny
hold Billy
Jr. was the
Napier's offense
coach
to
on
31,
that game.
what's that?
yep,
Barry Lunny
yep.
Jr. He was the one that he was the interim after Chad Morris was fired. He interimed this
Okay.
game as well when UTSA
Yeah.
head coach got COVID. So Barry Lunny is I
Okay.
found to be a good interim. Like I feel like he's in the near future he's going to be a head coach somewhere. Barry Lunny
Yeah.
Jr.
Speaking of Barry
Yeah,
Lunny, and last season, the Arkansas players really were excited to play for him once they let Chad Morris go. And honestly, I don't want to say that I saw some signs of what I saw this year with Arkansas with Barry Lunny at the helm, because I don't think. I mean, I didn't. I just didn't. But they play with a little more passion for him,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that speaks volumes to what he really like. What kind of not only coach he is, but what kind of man he is as well.
Yes.
I think I completely agree with Aaron 100%. I think Barry Lunny will be a head coach, not necessarily at a Florida or in somewhere like that, but
Oh no no.
I think you could very well see him at a South
Arkansas
Alabama or
State.
UAB, Arkansas State, exactly. Somebody
But,
like
but
that for sure.
but
For
maybe
sure.
even a Central Arkansas, or I can even see it in North Dakota State type level of
Yeah.
school too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely. Um, but yeah, John, you're exactly right. UTSA fought like hell against Louisiana. That was a good game as well. But
Yep.
Aaron, what game are you? I mean, of course, everybody's looking forward to the playoffs and all that, but
Yeah.
I mean, and I guess there's hype behind those games, but give me a game that you're looking forward to that's not one of the big
Yeah.
games.
So this is just a bowl that I personally feel like it's been a good one over the years. It's always, it's usually an offensive game because it's Pac-12 versus Big 12. This bowl is, I mean, has blown my mind in the past of how exciting it was to watch. I mean, if you love defense, it must have been very boring. But if you love offense, you were pumped, And it's the Alamo Bowl. I'm always now. I'm always excited for that specific bowl. Now, these two teams in there may not give me what I'm hoping and wanting out of that bowl, but I'm excited for that bowl. And also, there was another one. Also, I'm excited for. I'm excited for this Tulsa Mississippi State game. I want to see what a top tier American can do against a low tier SEC West school. You know what I mean? I'm excited for that bowl game too.
Yep.
You know, an
I'm
interesting
looking forward
fact.
to
Go ahead, Christian.
Georgia, Cincinnati. Georgia, Cincinnati.
Oh, Georgia Cincinnati.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
You know, Wes.
Georgia
an
Cincinnati is
interesting.
going to be a great game.
Mhm.
I am really excited about that game.
You
Go
know,
ahead,
an
John.
interesting fact in that Tulsa Mississippi State game. One of their leaders on Tulsa defense, Collins, I believe his name is, has optioned out and decided to go pro and get ready for the draft.
Really?
So that'd be an
Okay.
interesting fact going
not
into
know
that
that.
game as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
But the game I'm kind of, looking forward to is kind of the Cotton Bowl between
Yeah, yeah.
Oklahoma and Florida.
Mhm.
And then a lot of people aren't really talking about this, but the Ball State San Jose State game could be very well a shootout as well.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Oklahoma, Florida, I think is going to be just a defensive coordinator's nightmare, but I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. A game that I'm really looking forward to that I haven't heard too many people talk about
Oh,
is the Orange Bowl, which is Texas Texas A&M and North Carolina.
yes, that one's
I
gonna be.
think this game could, just like I said on my personal Facebook page last night, this Coastal Carolina game could turn out to be the bowl game of the year as far as excitement and all that. But I think when it really boils down to it, I don't think that the playoff games are going to be all that great.
No,
But
no.
I do think that this Texas A&M North Carolina game and also that Oregon Iowa State game are going to be two very, very fun and good football games to watch.
But also another bowl game. I know Ole Miss is only 4-5, but I love Lane Kiffin's style, and I feel like he's going to have because Indiana was good. Like heck, they almost beat Ohio State, and I just feel like both of those teams want to be there, and it's going to be a fun game to watch too. What I found with bowl games is when both. That's why I'm not keying into this Texas A&M North Carolina game, because for me, what I've seen in the past is what makes a good bowl game is when both teams equally want to be there. Texas A&M does not want to be there. They want to be in Dallas or wherever Ohio State.
I think Texas A&M. I think Jimbo Fisher is such a great motivator that these guys excited to be there. I mean, I honestly do. And don't get me wrong, I understand exactly where you're coming from. Here's a team that I don't think is excited about being there, and I think that's Georgia. Exactly. Yeah. Bingo. I think Georgia's not excited, and I tell you what, them boys better get ready because Cincinnati's will punch them in the mouth, and they will knock them out in the first quarter if they're not ready.
But
wait, so
exactly right, Christian.
I I don't know if it was last year, but Memphis went to the Cotton Bowl last year, right?
Correct. Yes.
And it was that New Year's Six Bowl. Who did they
Correct.
play again?
Penn
Was that
State.
Penn State?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was a really good game. I mean, that game was a lot better than I think a lot of people realize. We gave Penn State all they wanted.
I think this game is going to be identical to that game. Because
I think
no
it's going to be the
respect
other
to
way around,
Memphis.
though. I think Cincinnati's going to beat Georgia.
Yeah, but yes, I think though the emotions are going to be the same. You know, like
most
like
definitely.
Penn State didn't want to be there. I mean, I don't want to disrespect Memphis because I personally like Memphis. They're the neighbors. You know, I always liked Memphis. But Penn State, you know, Big Ten, Penn State did not want to be playing Memphis Tigers. You know, because of what our society, our football society tells us. You know, the American. So then it's like, you know, Penn State fans and Penn State see that like that. So I feel like it's going to be the same. Georgia doesn't want to play Cincinnati.
Right.
But I feel like that's going to hurt Georgia, just kind of like how a few years ago Auburn lost to UCF because they didn't want to be there. They weren't ready, but they were all like, oh, they're just an American team. We're going to squash them like a bug. That's not what happened. Georgia better understand that they might as well just be reading Alabama on. They got to envision Alabama on the opposing team's jersey because this team's going to come hot and ready.
Oh yeah, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, do you think North Carolina will beat Texas, Chris?
Texas A&M.
Yeah.
That's a tough
Texas
one.
A&M, yeah.
I've seen shades of North Carolina that makes me think they're a really good team, and then
Yeah.
I've seen things where it's like maybe they're overrated. So it just depends on what North Carolina team we're going to get. I think Texas A&M's a really good football team. I think even a bad game for them might be enough to get by this game. You know, just the defense, the offense. But you know, with that being said, I just think Texas A&M is going to be too much for North Carolina. Like they had that bad loss for Florida State this year. I just can't do that. You can't lose a game like that. And I think A&M, y'all had a point there saying, you know, I'm sure they don't want to be there, but like I said, I just think they're going to have them ready. I think Jimbo's, you know, I think he's upset. I think he wants to be in the playoffs, and he's going to tell his guys to come out ready to play that game. I just don't see him saying, all right, guys, we're just going to go and play this game and roll over, you know. Kellen Mond, it's going to be his last game, I believe. He's a senior. So he'll probably want to leave on a good note.
Yeah, probably so.
I don't know if he'll.
Guys, we got another interview getting ready to come up.
Hey, real quick,
Just so
before
y'all know.
hey, let's just
Go ahead.
let's just go ahead and end this one and then start the new one, if that's okay with you. But unless you want to keep this one, but I think we should give them a heads up before we go live. Do what?
Okay. All right.
But what I
well,
was,
guys,
well,
thank you very
hang on
much
a
for
second,
watching.
hang on a second. What I was going to tell
All
everybody,
right, go.
prayers to the Utah football team as well.
Yeah,
they lost their football running back, Ty Jordan. So prayers go out to Utah as well. And then look forward to seeing us in like 1 minute, guys.
Yeah, we'll be right back, guys. We're getting ready to be on with a very special guest from Bartlett High School, the head coach, one Mr. Richard Creel. We will be right back.